start, I'd like you to imagine that you're walking through the streets of New York and you're looking up at all of the magnificent skyscrapers. Now imagine if you were going to build a skyscraper, where do you think you'd start? Do you think you'd start by putting up the facade or, putting the furniture into the offices? Of course not. You'd start with laying the foundations. It's extremely important that we get solid foundations so that our magnificent structure stands the test of time. And I'm sure if you chat with anyone in construction, they'll tell you that structural damage that may occur later on down the track, it always comes back to whether or not solid foundations were laid. Now, for example, you may be familiar with the Petronas Towers in Malaysia. These used to be, for the last 6 years, some of the tallest buildings in the world. And what you may not know, though, is that the foundations laid for these buildings go down 400 feet into the ground. That's below the surface, where you may not have even noticed it was there. But where do you think most people focus their attention? Do you think if you were getting into the skyscraper business and you were thinking about building these magnificent structures, if you'd think about building the foundations, or what do you think it is that might have attracted you into that industry? Obviously, it's what's above the ground, looking at, these magnificent structures. What you don't focus on is what's not obvious to you, what's under the surface. So what's the point of this story? Why am I telling you about skyscrapers and laying the foundations? Well, quite simply, I wanted to draw the parallels between that and reaching success. We always hear about people having overnight success, but in my experience, what I've found is 9 times out of 10, overnight success is something that 10 years in the making. A lot of work goes into laying the foundation, which sets you up for this overnight success. A lot of people don't recognise and appreciate all of that hard work that goes in. And trading is exactly the same. Trading is very hard work. You put a lot of the work up front to set the foundations, and that's what we're going to go through now in regards to building and designing your trading plan. We put a lot of the hard work up front so that our structure is sound and solid from the start. And I suppose that leads into what this chapter is all about. This chapter is about defining your goals, defining why it is that you want to be a successful trader. As I told you, trading's hard work. I'm not going to kid you. You need to make sure that you know why it is that you're wanting to be a successful trader, so when the going gets tough, you have a reason and the fortitude to stick through and achieve success. I've done a lot of my own sort of self-development and personal development to make sure I've got a really solid grounding, and now I want you to do the same. Read the chapter below, take the action steps, and find out why it is that you're going to be successful trading.